At 6 in June, a Van Buren County jury convicted a young man of murdering a 64-year-old woman by intentionally hitting her with his car. He was later sentenced to spend the rest of his life in prison.
Our Michael Martin sat down with the county sheriff, who says that conviction might not have been entirely responsible without their department's dedication to embracing new technology.
At the time, I couldn't divulge anything. I can't divulge a ton still. I don't want to educate people on a lot of our tricks we use.
Van Buren County Sheriff Dan Abbott has been with the department since 1993. In that time, investigative techniques have progressed quite a bit.
We're trying to stay ahead of the curve, like everybody. The criminals are changing with the times just like law enforcement are.
When 64-year-old Melody Rohrer was reported missing by her husband after going jogging near the Oak Shores campground in Decatur back in September 2021, it was quick-thinking investigators and technology that solved the case.
Technology, technology, technology.
As soon as Rohrer was reported missing, investigators wrote out a subpoena for her phone, unaware of what it would reveal.
What jumped out at the investigators at that time was her SIMS card.
The subpoena showed that Rohrer's SIM card, or subscriber identity module, had been taken out of her phone and placed into a phone owned by this man, 31-year-old Colby Martin.
Your SIM card is tied to your phone number in your phone. So if I was to take your SIM card out, put it in my phone, it's going to show that it left your device and went into mine. I'm guessing he didn't know that the technology was there.
They quickly located Martin and secured search warrants for his electronics.
The detectives was able to get into his phone, seeing what he was researching after the crime was committed within minutes, few hours after the fact.
Here, technology was able to paint a picture of Martin's alleged mindset at the time of the crime, despite him later saying that he accidentally hit Rohrer with his vehicle. Investigators found he had made numerous online searches related to necrophilia and sexual assault, even allegedly entering a live online sex chat room while in possession of her body.
I think he was driving around looking for a victim. And unfortunately, she happened to be in a desolate area, and he was able to commit the crime right there.
He would be charged with murder, accused of hitting and killing her on purpose and then moving her body to commit a sexual assault. Eventually, he would admit to hiding her body in the Three Rivers State Game area.
He, till this day, still denies doing all that, even though the facts are the facts and we know he did.
It was the detectives' knowledge of and access to specialized technology that helped convince jurors that this was a premeditated murder, not an accident.
We don't use those tools to go outside the box. We use those tools to help solve crimes, to help put bad people in jail where they need to be. When you put that type of evidence in front of jurors sitting there, I don't think you can solidify a case any harder than that one, based on the evidence with everything linking in with the motive.
Michael Martin, Fox 17 News.
Colby Martin was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of ever getting parole. Prosecutors were not able to charge him for what he did to her body after her death, as Michigan has no such laws in the books for that. Sheriff Abbott did say there are efforts in the works to introduce legislation that would create proper statutes allowing criminal charges in future similar cases.